in those moments when you're triggered, and how to grow that in a relationship. Because I find that that has been such an important thing, because it doesn't help that you've learned all of these coping mechanisms and all of these all of these tools and things, but then you don't know how to apply it when you're in the moment. And I prefer to go back to things that are like feel as simple as possible, because your brain isn't going to remember 500 steps. It's just going to remember 3 things that you can do. It reaches for the simplest thing that is closest to you. So that is something to keep in mind when you are feeling triggered, when you're feeling stressed, when you have your adrenaline up in the air because your partner irritated the shit out of you.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Just with what you were saying there, you know, so many people do all these spiritual practices. They meditate, they journal, they put all the self-work in, and it's fantastic that you are cultivating these different skills and remodeling the mind and just, you know, molding yourself into the person that you want to be. And I could even change that and say remembering the person that you are. And when you step out in public and you need to just have a conventional conversation with someone that you just can't, you throw all the things that you've learned out of the window. And the minute they've triggered you, the minute it's maybe something that is a bit mundane or isn't on your wavelength, that you just cut off and you're possibly very triggered, and everything goes out the window. So with what you said, I think it's so important to really practice what you put into practice behind the scenes and behind closed doors.
Because that's something that we both struggled with, where it was when we argued or when things got heated between us, then all of the spiritual practices get thrown out the window and you go back to all of those
you just run into like an old pattern.
And then you think that by going back, I'm just going to meditate quickly and figure out, this is probably my ego, so this and this and that. Like, being spiritual doesn't give you an excuse to be a dick, to be honest. Like, it goes both ways.
And I mean, that's really true. It should be the complete opposite, and you should become more compassionate. Because at the end of the day, you are conversing with another person's ego and a personality, and at the end of the day, we are all humans, we all have souls, and once you can truly connect to that, that's when the big shift happens. That's when you really do step in and see people, and truly see people for who they are. So I just wanted to say something that is important when you are in a partnership, and when you are the person doing the work and your partner isn't, or you're the one that started on this journey and your partner isn't. It's important to be very patient and kind and compassionate with the person on the other side, whether it's your partner or if it's any other relationship, because what I've learned in this process is that people can only meet you at the level of depth that they have met themselves, and if they haven't and if they haven't done or gone onto that journey for themselves, they won't firstly understand where you're coming from, and they might just be very defensive or very reactive to what you're saying. So really, it's just a thing of being very compassionate, and we're going to keep saying that. That's kind of like the key word in this. But also expectation. You cannot expect another person to do what you are doing. Each person has their own divine timing, and in when they get that inkling, or they get that itch that they truly cannot scratch unless they start putting the work in, and they're just so frustrated, so uncomfortable. And it's so important to just bear witness and hold space, because you know better, and you can see a little bit more than what they can see within themselves, and just be there throughout that process, and possibly act as a guide. I know, just to add on that, I know in a lot of cases some relationships really do struggle with this, because one partner just does not want to, like,
there's a complete disconnect. It's kind of like the one person stayed like 10 years behind, and the other person's just, you know, taken like a 20-year leap in their understanding and how they approach the world and their perspectives and shifts of beliefs and those type of things. So I really do empathize with people that are going through that. And I suppose the other question you need to ask yourself is this then the relationship for you? Is this someone that is going to meet you there? And it all comes down to sovereignty as well. And that's a whole different conversation.
I agree with you, and I disagree with you also, because I feel like there's...
Why do you disagree with me? Everything that I say is true. Yeah.
I agree and I disagree, because there's a level of arrogance with that statement, and I get, because sometimes we as human beings, we feel that our truth has to be everyone's truth, and when someone doesn't embrace our truth, then there's this immediate need to like, oh, why are you not? Or like, mine is better than yours, so why are you not doing this? And so
I fully... Let me then just reword it. When someone is going on their journey and does have a greater awareness of themselves and maybe just of reality in general.
We need to look at the people and not look at each other.
I know, but we should look at each other as well, because it's like weird, we're having a conversation. That, you know, you must stay there, you're too close to me. That at no time is it right to try and push your truth and your understanding on that other person. And it comes down to another paradox. Is there really a right and a wrong? And no, but I'm getting to a point. Your truth is your truth.
Yeah.
And my truth is my truth. And another person's truth is their truth. And there might be things which are likens between all different truths. But you can only see that when you are in a state of neutrality and you've stepped out of polarity. So when you stop looking at what is right and wrong, and you start just accepting that everyone has their own unique perspective, and to them what they see is true, and to you what you see is true.
Okay. No, I hear what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a big thing though.
That was
I felt like I was going down the wormhole for
I'm sorry, I'll stop there. Let's carry on.
But it's true what you're saying, because there's also, I mean, one of the focuses on today's conversation was about like self-love and compassion, but compassion is only birthed out of you loving yourself, and it's not face masks and bubble bath and this and gym or whatever else. It's truly honoring yourself where you are and not judging where you are, and that's where compassion is birthed out of. And like, you know, everyone talks about, like we said, this unconditional love that we spoke about in our last video, but unconditional love is birthed from that space of truly loving and honoring yourself. And so when you're in a relationship or a partnership or a multi-ship or whatever
ship you're
on, you really have to look at doing this and birthing these things in yourself, so that when you are in a situation where you're triggered by your partner, that you can apply that same compassion that you have been giving to yourself. You can apply that same degree of separate neutrality, like you said, where it's like, cool, this is true for him or her right now, and she's deeply feeling that and deeply triggered by that.
And why do you have to be then triggered?
Because it's shit.
No, not you, man. I'm saying, why does the person that now is observing through neutrality then have to be triggered?
Because normally the person that's triggered will like react to you and like throw anger at you, or like do something that's also gonna trigger you. And then
that just means you need to do more work.
It's a cycle.
And listening is the best form of communication.
Okay,
okay, here's what my thought process was. I was going to say that when you are two people in a relationship, you're two people on your own individual journeys, and you're both always being triggered, you're both healing, you're both like unpacking things. And when you apply that self-love and compassion, it's not, oh, how can I, like, it's me versus him.
How can I make my issues bigger so that person can see that
Yeah.
my things are more valid and maybe more painful, and it becomes a competition.
And then it's his fault, he has to feel guilty, he has to fix me.
And then it's
So-
a whole victim.
That's a whole downward spiral. So the
Yeah.
whole thing of the compassion and self-love aspect is that when you are living from that space, then it's not me versus you, it's how can we unpack this together.
And how can I support you?
Oh, you read my mind.
My word, we're so in sync.
So in sync. So I just wanted to give you a simple practice of when you're feeling triggered in an argument, which is, firstly, the first thing I connect to is my breath. I try and slow my breath down because my whole body's having an adrenaline response when I'm triggered. It's like your heart starts beating, it's like your face gets red, well, Nick's face gets red. So just, yeah,
Truth, yeah.
take 3 deep breaths, slow your heart rate down, and don't just spew out the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Like, yeah.
Just, it's amazing what one single conscious breath can do before you're about to just let all cylinders fire.
Yeah. So take 3 deep breaths.
Take 3.
Notice the sensation in your body of what you're feeling.
And you will get a visceral response. Like your gut will wrench. You'll just know that what you are saying is either the right thing to say or the wrong thing to say. And most of the time, it's not going to be the right thing to say at the right time. And you would probably appreciate some time just to reword what you were going to say in the spur of the moment.
So it's take 3 deep breaths, notice how you're feeling, and then get present. Ground yourself in the present moment. Like that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just to snap yourself out of it. Like, there are lots of practices that we have to bring yourself back into the present and come back into the now. Because the reason why you're feeling angry is because you're looking into the past, or you're feeling anxious about the future, and
because of the past.
It's a whole trippy thing, but yeah, so just go back to that. And then there are questions that you can ask yourself afterwards when you're taking that time for yourself, which is
where is this emotion coming from?
Yeah, ask yourself where, and you'll get the memory, and it'll be like, what is this reminding me of? Or if I were to soften, then what is it that I'm scared of? And for a lot of men who are in their unhealed masculine space, it's showing emotion or crying or seeming weak in that space. I see emotion and vulnerability as a gift, but not all men see that. So it can be very difficult to expose yourself in that sense.
And then express.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all.
I think that's to the point.
It's literally like when Nick and I argue now, it'll be like someone says one sentence and then we both have this look on our face, and I'm like, I'm gonna take some time and I'll speak to you when I've cooled.
Because I'm scared you'll pull out knives and just go at it.
Really? Really?
Hack each other.
That's dark.
It is a little bit dark, I know, but no, it's changed our dynamic.
We're kinder to each other, even though we're both triggered. We're able to be kinder.
We recognize the space that we need to give.
Okay. The 3 things is take 3 deep breaths.
Connect to your body.
Yeah.
Feel the sensations in your body.
And then ground yourself into the present. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the easiest thing I could, literally, it snaps you out of that energy of anger and where you are.
And that mental loop, just bring you back.
Yeah.